And thanks so much for joining us here on our global webcast for the Pirelli World Challenge. And welcome once again to Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course as we are set for round 15 of the Pirelli World Challenge GT and GTA Championships, round 14 for GT Cup, all part of the Pirelli World Challenge Grand Prix of Mid-Ohio, presented by Honda Racing. Great to have you with us. And first of all, one of the key things here is the radar looks pretty clear. We don't have any impending rain. Rained overnight, so once again the track might be a little bit green. However, dry at this point as we are getting ready to go. I'm Greg Creamer, joined by Calvin Fish. Jeff Lepper will be with us as well, especially when we get into our CBS Sports Network coverage. And again, just a reminder, you're sort of eavesdropping once we get going, so we'll have pauses and we may lay out for just a little bit, but we know you understand. And Cal, looking forward to this one. It's so much after yesterday's race, won a lot of contact. So that's affected some things. Some drivers that struggled in qualifying for the first race, like Michael Cooper, brilliant lap during the race to up his chances for today. So much to talk about, so much that's developed.
Yeah, and I think when you look at the race yesterday, it just got quicker and quicker. I mean, a lot of the guys laid down their fastest laps of the race on the very last tour to the checkered flag, and that surprised a lot of people because there's a real strategy involved in that in terms of finding a bit of a gap and laying down a quick lap. Everyone had to keep pushing right to the checkered flag, and it really jumbled up the grid. Cooper, for example, and Perrent set their fastest laps on the last lap, and it surprised a lot of people. Thought, oh, we're good. I think Austin Cindric's crew thought they were on the front row, and then suddenly, late last night, they realized, where did Cooper's time come from? So some big surprises.
Yeah, well, a lot of drivers said that with that race, after the rain, it was a green track, and of course we had Indy cars out and the like on the different manufacturer rubber. They said it was the slipperiest dry race at the start of that many of them said I've ever driven in. But as you said, more and more laps, more and more Pirelli rubber down, more and more speed and pace. That strategy you talked about finding a gap, actually caught out Pat Long, who was trying to find a gap before he served his drive-through penalty and ended up going one lap too long trying to find a break.
Yeah, he was talking to the crew. He said, are the stewards in our pit box? Are they screaming for me to get in? Let me try and find a gap here and lay down a lap, which he did. Ultimately, he then went out and was in some traffic when everyone was laying down faster laps. So he's going to line up in the 9th position on the grid here today. And he actually got a penalty yesterday because of that. Right. You basically allowed 3 laps, 2 laps by with a black flag. You've got to respond. And because of that strategy, he and the team weren't aware of that rule now. So it's cost them dearly, cost them a top couple of positions at the end of the day. 1 lap taken away from their number yesterday.
And we understand all but one of the drivers involved in contact incidents yesterday will be able to make the grid. The one that won't, Colin Thompson, who is having one of those years. It's a tough go for him. So that's the problem. So we're going to pause here, and we'll be right back with our CBS Sports coverage. There is the command to start engines as we are ready to go here at Mid-Ohio. Welcome back to Mid-Ohio, everybody, as we're set for the Pirelli World Challenge GT and GTA 15th round of the championship for GT Cup. The 14th round, it's the Mid-Ohio Grand Prix presented by Honda Racing. And great to have you with us. Calvin Fish joining myself, Greg Creamer. Jeff Lepper will be down in pit lane for the race. And boy, Don Harple, once again, he just lets that ATSV ignite when he comes out of the pits. We love it. And this field now taking to the track. And with that, we need to talk about some pole award winners. In Motul GT Pole Award, so the field out and everything you can see there, Spencer Pumpelly starting. We're going to wait on those pole awards, waiting. Spencer at the back, one of those guys involved in contact. The problem was when you get contact in that first lap and you're out, you get no lap.
The way, with the strategy we talked about laying down a fast lap, if you have a problem at the beginning of the first race of a weekend, it can really hurt you big time. You've got a bad result. There's a rule in place. You've got to do 50% of the race distance to score any points. And then you also don't have a chance to lay down a fast lap. So it is a total disaster if you have problems in these opening laps of races on the weekend.
Yeah, really a struggle. Adderley Fong, another driver, he in that first lap went out, had a mechanical issue. They could never get it sorted, so he never got a representative lap. We know he's quick, but the problem is you're coming from well back in the pack.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be fun to watch because there's some very fast cars back there. But as we've said before, Mid-Ohio, not easy to pass on. This has certainly been a great spot to do it at the end of the back straightaway down into our stop-tech brake zone. You can go side-by-side through there, up into turn 5. We saw a lot of side-by-side action for 2-3 corners yesterday and expect more of the same today.
Well, in turn 4, you can go side by side. What we saw yesterday, it's tough to go side by side by side. Yeah, that's a little different. So hopefully everybody will be a bit more circumspect on the start. There you see Mike McCann back out. They got that Viper fixed. That's great news. He was so impressive in qualifying in GTA with that run to second, kind of letting everybody know that he's definitely back after they got some things sorted out after that big crash at Road America. But he had a great run, and do want to give a shout out. The guy who ended up third in GTA yesterday, driving a gold or sort of bronze colored Porsche. I think he might come into our view here shortly here. There he is. That is Joseph Toussaint. Yesterday, his first ever Pirelli World Challenge podium, and he's been a good supporter of this championship. He hasn't been able to put full seasons together, but he always runs. And I'll tell you what, it's a treat, and we're very happy for him.
Yeah, loves to race. Always got a smile on his face. Can't do the full championship, but when he does show up, he gives it 1,000,000%. And that was a really solid run for him here yesterday.
All right, field now, as usual here, you get 2 pace laps, and then you will drive by, start, finish, go around through the keyhole, and pick up the start on the back straight, if you will. That's where they generally do these rolling starts, and we're going to be doing that once again today. Just pausing. We're doing CBS pickup in just a sec. Welcome once again, everybody, to Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. It is time for the Pirelli World Challenge GT and GTA 15th round of the championship. For GT Cup, it's the 14th round. It is the Mid-Ohio Grand Prix presented by Honda Racing. I'm Greg Creamer, joined by Calvin Fish and Jeff Lepper in the pits once again. Thanks for staying with us, and I'll tell you, we're looking for a good one here. As the field is out on their pace laps, we're going to get right to our Motul GT Pole Awards, and in GT it goes to Alvaro Parent, his 5th pole of the season, and a wicked quick one, over 100-mile-an-hour average lap during the race, and that meant a bit earlier Jeff Lepper had a chance to catch up with him. And, of course, 2 other classes running in the GTA category. The Motu Pole Award, his 3rd of the year, goes to Mike Shine, and that was an outright new GTA track record. Not a race lap record, a track record at a 1:21.790. And in GT Cup, the Motu Pole Award, his 7th of the year to Sloan Urie, doing a great job in that Security National Mortgage Evasis True Speed Porsche at a 1:24.717 second lap. Now, since this is a rolling start, we are going to be again coming through what will be the VP Racing Fuels acceleration zone. And on the restarts, should there be one, it will be right here in this section of the track. But real quick, we had a lot of cars involved in contact yesterday. Jeff, what are you hearing from those teams? Who's going to be able to start? All right, thanks, Jeff. And as you can see, the field's starting to form up. Boy, I'll tell you, Colin Thompson might be defining the phrase sophomore jinx this year. It's unbelievable.
Just cannot catch a break, but his teammates had a great run yesterday. A 1-2 finish. They lined up on the pole. And in 3rd position, Austin Cindric in that bright blue McLaren. You can see him there behind his factory teammate, Alvaro Parent, coming down to the line here.
And Parent, remember, we're talking to Jeff, talked about how crucial it was to get clean through that first turn they're going to face, turn 4. Starting to pick the pace up just a little bit, and green flag flies. We are racing at Mid-Ohio. Contact, little bump. Saw some body work flying. It's Austin Cindric. But look at Cooper.
Look at Cooper. He's going to try and stick it to the outside.
He may have done it.
He does. He's got the track position. Parent's going to fight him hard, but we're on cold tires, remember. Then it's going to be the run down the hill to turn 6.
And Cooper through Parent.
Look at Eversley.
Oh, a huge move by Eversley and O'Connell inside a height cutter.
Wow, what a move by Ryan Eversley.
Boy, and you know who else took advantage of all of that was John Fogarty. He made a nice move, and you can see the damage on Cindric's car, left front. Looks like the splitter and the wheel well has come apart, but look at this. Eversley 2nd, suddenly Parent from pole to 3rd.
Tell you what, Eversley is a racer. He is a man on a charge right now. There's a huge throng of Honda supporters here this weekend, about 10,000 people from the factories here in Ohio in attendance, and he's putting on a show right now.
Boy, he sure is. O'Connell there in fourth, the red Cadillac, Heitkotter fifth. Then you take a look and see Fogarty, and Heitkotter showing the nose to Johnny O.
Little wobble there by Fogarty. You could see there, that car's not settled down right now. They made a bit of a change overnight. He had too much understeer yesterday. Maybe they've gone too much in the other direction, but as early in the going right now. Look at Cindric's car, big damage to the left front.
Boy, and I'll tell you, that's really going to affect his downforce in that corner on that side of the car, which means in any right-hander, he's really going to struggle.
Well, you got to be careful.
Boy, he got to run, though, didn't he?
He did, but you got to be careful if that suddenly comes underneath that left front tire when he's trying to turn through a corner. I think the stewards will look at this. If it doesn't dispatch itself pretty soon, they may bring him in. Oh, that's tight there. Cindric pushes it down to the inside. That bodywork's going to be right into Fogarty, and it clears it. I think it tore the bodywork off of Cindric. And he's now got probably a healthy race car minus the downforce.
But it did take Fogarty off track, so he's lost some ground. And Heitkotter attacking on O'Connell, not quite able to make it work. Finally slotted in behind him and is holding station now. But that was a great side-by-side battle for a number of corners. Love to see it. Now we're going to go back and take a look, as we always do, at the GT Cup start, which happened separately. And here is the start. And Yuri with that pole, Cal, it was huge for him to get a run down into the first turn, and he was able to do that. But Fergus Hungary took a look.
He did take a look from that third position, but it's settled down right now. Udell to the front.
Yeah.
Got around the pole sitter, Sloan Yuri.
Yuri made it work down into that first turn, but Udell found a way by. Udell has just been on a tear as of late.
He's got the confidence going. Look at this. Eversley hounding the Cadillac. Who would have thought about this with the dominance of the McLarens earlier in the weekend? Parent seems to be struggling here a little bit. Look at these two leaders just taking off in the early going.
I'll tell you, one thing we know about the Acura, it doesn't have the downforce in the corners, but it has great straight line speed, as you can see here.
Right there. They lost some boost, but boy, oh boy, he's coming after that Cadillac.
He used it to great advantage on the start. As a matter of fact, we're watching him. We're glad we are. He is our Optima Batteries best start winner, up 6 spots from where he qualified, and that was pretty much into the first corner. Brilliant start by Ryan. We've seen that so often from him this year.
He is really dynamite on these opening laps and really just takes off. And with that opening sequence of corners, you can start to make some moves here at Mid-Ohio. And the drivers recognize once it settles down, it's tough to make a move. But remember that Acura got a balance of performance adjustment, 30 kilograms more weight on that car. That will affect his tire wear over the course of this race. He probably needs to try and get around Cooper early and then try and manage the pace a little bit of his race car.
Well, we'll see if he is able to do that. By the way, that contact between Cindric and Fogarty in the Red Dragon is under review by the officials. We'll let you know what they say when we come back to what's shaping up to be a great race at Mid-Ohio. I was just watching while you were making that comment, Cal, watching Eversley as he came up through what is turn 11 and setting up for the carousel. You could see that car was dancing and twitching, but man, he's got pace.
He does.
Got a huge run this time.
If he can just get alongside him and just try and hang tough. Cooper realizes, though, he's won here 4 times before in World Challenge competition. He knows the track well. He realizes he can't give that man the outside lane.
And the one thing that caddy, now look at, is he going to try and just dive down in there? He realized maybe not at this point. But the caddy just has better downforce, so he's got to be, Eversley we're talking about, a little bit further up along the side, because otherwise the caddy can just out-deep him into the brake zone with that downforce.
Yeah, absolutely, and certainly the TC, the electronics, the traction control on the Cadillac works superbly well, so that will allow Cooper to get on the gas pedal early through some of those tight corners.
They have tweaked and developed on that over the years, haven't Cadillac understands that part of the program. Well,
they lost one of their big advantages when we moved away from the standing starts, because they typically would always make up 3 or 4 spots if they were deep in the pack.
Boy, watching for the margin now as these two come whistling by start-finish. And the margin officially now back to Parent, 4 plus seconds from Cooper. That is a huge margin to have built up. That's a second a lap, Cal.
Yeah, it's quite amazing. Now things are settling down in terms of the fastest laps, but certainly Parent's car has taken a while to kind of come in here. Not sure if he got forced wide, maybe picked up some marbles on the tires and had to clean them off, but now he's settling in. He's got a nice gap behind him to Johnny O'Connell, who runs in the 4th position, so he can start to hit his mark. But here comes Eversley again. Cooper's not, that's going to get really tight. He swings out a little bit later, tries to take it in even deeper than he did on the previous lap. Cooper's going to run him out wide. Good clean racing there, just gave him kind of 3/4 of a car width.
Well, and Cooper, to his credit, is doing exactly how you're supposed to do it per the rules. You can pick any spot you want to run on the track. He does that as he comes through the kink, goes far right, then does not react to what Eversley's doing. So he is doing a nice job. You can do that defense, you just can't block.
Do not react to the other driver's move behind you. That's what it's all about. That keeps it nice and safe. You've got to be consistent with those moves. Otherwise, you're going to have carnage like we saw a little bit yesterday.
And you see here, once we get into the busy parts of the track, Cooper does edge away just a little bit. And that may be Eversley realizing, I can't maintain this pace and keep these, even though they're a remarkable tire, these probably P0 slicks, any tire you push them too hard will lose a little bit of their efficiency. And Eversley, pretty savvy driver, and he may have said, yeah, I'm just too much right now. And there's still plenty of racing yet to go.
Graham, word that Austin Cindric, because of that contact, is supposed to give that position back to John Fogarty. The problem is Cindric runs 6th, Fogarty 9th. So he's got to really drop back through the pack. Tell you a man who's been on a move early, and we see this a lot, is J.D. Davison, 17th on the grid after the contact on lap 1 yesterday, all the way up to 7th. That's a brilliant opening lap by him.
Yeah, I mean, he also, you know, that Nissan makes some pretty good straight line speed, but it just seems to work around here. You know, oftentimes they talk about those high speed, high long duration corners. It's too much. Here, there's lots of direction changes, but they're kind of smooth. It's not like a real angular.
Sure,
which hurts them as well.
Certainly the Nissans over the years have proved to be quick here. They had some podium runs here last year. Cooper looks like he's just extended that gap a little bit this tour around. This will take the pressure off down that back straightaway. I don't think Eversley's going to be close enough this time around to start to make those moves down into our stop tech brake zone.
We're going to pause for a second, come back with our CBS Sports Call. Folks, welcome back to Mid-Ohio, and we have another man who is on the move. He didn't get as much as Ryan Eversley did in the opening lap, but in the lap since, Cal, J.D. Davison has been flying up to 7th.
Yeah, and he did that by lap 2, and he's now going to get another position here. The reason being is Austin Cindric, after that contact with the 99 Red Dragon, has to give the position back. The problem was Fogarty dropped all the way back to 9th, and now you can see they have got those positions done. Here comes Pompelli trying to make a move on Pat Long.
And Pat Long, one of the guys who just did not have any pace in yesterday's race. They threw a huge change at the car. He said last night, he said, we're hoping it works. They just haven't been able to find any grip. Yeah,
just a flat slide. He said he even had wheel spin with the traction control fully ramped up. So they were making a change to the differential last night to try and get that back end settled down. And the irony is, Greg, that the Porsche has dominated here, sweeping both weekends with Ryan DL the last couple of years. This is a true GT3 machine, so it's a little bit different platform to them. But he said, you know, last year the Porsche struggled at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. I swept. Last year the Porsches were dominant here. This weekend, I'm struggling. That's the irony of racing sometimes.
Yep, well, there's this chassis, this new GT3R, just a little different than the other one. And they said, you know, some of the data, some of the stuff we have just really doesn't apply. However, it seems to be working quite well in the GTA category for this guy. His teammate, Mike Shine, is absolutely hooked up in that Wright Motorsports Porsche once again, leading, although the car that's right behind him, it seems to be on pace here. Your points leader, Martin Fuentes, in the Hublot Under Armour Ferrari from Scuderia Corsa.
And you can see the pace of this GTA class this year. When they're on form, they're ahead of some of the strongest runners in the full GT category, like Kyle Marcelli, who sits behind those guys. So these guys are very close to the true pace of the GT field.
Well, we saw, where was it, at Mosport, when Mike Shine got a lap within a second of Pat Long on that track. Clearly, he is somebody that's got a great opportunity here, but the problem is for him is the points margin that Martin has already built up.
It's a long night for Nick Short and the guys at CRP trying to repair that damage. Marcelli involved in that spin that Colin Thompson was tipped into yesterday. Tore this Audi up pretty good. So you can see they got the car on the grid just trying to score points today.
And as we're watching him, and Kyle has been very effective at Lime Rock Park, a tremendous race he put together there, I think up on the podium. So certainly capable, but you get at a track, it's just not quite clicking here, and then you have contact like that, as you said, long day for the crew for that Nick Short runs CRP Racing program. Up front, it's Michael Cooper. He's stretched that margin out a little bit now over Eversley to over a second, Cal.
He did, and last 3 or 4 laps, he was about 4 to 5 tenths quicker than Eversley, but Eversley just responded with a 120.5. So just like yesterday, we're suddenly seeing these tires come alive as we get more rubber down. IndyCars are out for the morning warm-up, and I think they just don't, coexist that well with the IndyCar rubber. But as soon as this race gets underway, the times just come alive.
And there's a look at Alec Udell leading in GT Cup, and he was able to get through and make that move on Uri. Boy, but once he got through, Cal, look at the margin he's been able to open up.
Well, I think they must have tweaked on that race car because he didn't have that advantage yesterday. You can see Sloan Uri there, a couple of seconds back. And Corey Fergus hanging with these guys, so they're continuing to work on that 0-0 machine. Home race for Corey Fergus, lives down in Columbus. He's got 1 million miles around this racetrack. Not as many as his father, however. He's won numerous national championships here over the years.
Yeah, John Fergus. This is a big step for Corey. I mean, his experience, like his dad's, was in, Sports 2000, small prototypes and the like. Then he went and ran some small bore, like touring car stuff, was very good. Won the TC championship. This is a new level, and for the team, this car is a new thing to wrap your head around, isn't it?
And they're used to running cars that you can actually tune on. You can change things on. They said, we know how to fix it, we're just not allowed because this is a spec car. And I think that's causing the frustration for them.
And, of course, that big buyers on the side of the car, a local Ohio Porsche dealership where Corey works. He races Porsches on the weekend and then sells them during the week, so wanted to give them a big shout-out. Up front, Cooper leads it, but that margin is coming down. It had gone to 1.2 seconds, but as you can see, Eversley, and I think you're absolutely right, Cal, with more and more of this compatible Pirelli rubber getting down on the track. The car's starting to find some pace. By the way, we just got word that Alec, his pass on Sloan happened into turn 4. Sloan got in a little hot, locked up, floated wide, and they went side by side through a couple of corners. Light little touch, but everything's good on both cars. And so that's how that happened. And for Michael Cooper, doing a superb job here, continuing to lead here at Mid-Ohio. And we'll be right back. All right, folks, laying out a little bit for our CBS Sports Network call, but great to be able to continue to call it with you here on our global webcast. And we got some, look at this, coming up behind here. There is the Austin Cindric. Here comes Pat Long. Pat's got a little bit of debris in that grill. That can be a bit of an issue. Then Spencer Pumpelly and Adderley Fong. This is a group that is utterly quick.
Absolutely. Shame to see that Bentley had those transmission issues even before the green yesterday. Adderley had been very strong in the practice sessions here, and everyone thought he could have been a threat for the win. But when you're coming from the pack, as Pat Long said, he said when you qualify poorly, there are no easy pickings here, and he had to take some chances yesterday and ultimately cost him dearly.
There is a look at Adderley. Yeah, I mean, he had said he mistimed when he really went for his pole run, and he said if I'd done it, started to build the speed a couple of laps sooner, he said, and given myself that little extra window, I might have been able to get on the front row. And then he had that problem. Boy, just got a great run on the back of Spencer, though. Watch right here. Yeah, he is glued to the back of Pumpelly.
Pumpelly got that suspension damage, just had a couple of hits, one down in turn 4, the opening corner of the start yesterday, and then got hit again in turn 1 with Colin Thompson, which broke the suspension, sent him into the gravel trap up into the keyhole. So again, no fast laps had been set at that point in the race. That's why he's buried in the pack. He'd been a few tenths quicker than Ryan Eversley in qualifying, so you got Ryan there duking out for the lead. Pumpelly seemingly with equal speed here this weekend, but you can see he's fighting to stay inside the top 10. Runs in the 11th spot right now.
Yeah, for a few of these drivers, it's a kind of coulda, woulda, shoulda scenario here because the potential was way better than where they're running right now. Parent, points leader, continues to run third, by the way. Then O'Connell and Highcotter. And Davison continues his march. Big attempt here as Pumpelly looked to the inside on Long. But I was just going to say that Davison now has made it up into the top 6.
Well, one thing about Spencer Pumpelly, he's a veteran.
Yep.
He recognizes he's in for a couple of races right now. There's guys duking it out for the championship, and one of those guys is Pat Long right in front of him, who's having a pretty poor weekend, and he doesn't want to add to that. So I think any move he tries to make on Pat Long will need to be a clean one. Cindric slows a little bit.
Boy, and Long just,
he's off the pace.
Something's happened. Well, he was in that contact, and maybe something has gone even more wrong on that left front corner, Cal.
See if he dies for pit lane this go-around. It's a brilliant performance yesterday in securing the pole.
He stays out, but he's not running on the pace. There is John Fogerty. Fourth yesterday. He had a great qualifying run. They said, boy, we've got a lot of the Gainescoke reps here that we would love to get back on the podium. They haven't had one since Circuit of the Americas, but we're seeing some speed out of this car again. That's the good thing.
Well, they've been struggling with the car in race trim in terms of the balance changing, going from understeer to big oversteer in the races. They had understeer in qualifying. They made a little tweak, but they still had understeer in the race yesterday. They were going to change the setup. Spoke to John Ward, his engineer, this morning, and he said, we're just going to loosen up a little bit. Be curious to see whether they've gone a bit too far. He certainly got roughed up there a little bit by Austin Cindric. There may be some damage, or whether he's just got that poor track position now and can't do anything with it.
Yeah, just struggling a little bit, chasing Michael Lewis in the number 98 entry. Good news for Michael Lewis with that program with Calvert Dynamics and the Phoenix Performance team. He is on for the rest of the season. That's fabulous news.
It really is. There's a bit of a shake-up there this weekend as well, where Andrew Davis, who had been competing in the GT category this year, and the other Calvert Dynamics machine, has turned it over to his boss, Preston, who's running in the GTA category this year. That was the intention anyway, is to eventually move Preston up to the GTA class. So he's done that a little bit earlier than anticipated.
Here's a look at the 17 of Alec Udell, and we did find the pass that happened here, folks. So those of you here on the web, we're going to do it again for CBS, but here is the path. Yep, a little bit too hot.
Yeah, Yuri in there really deep, just locks it up. And Alec there just pounced.
And right.
A little bit of argy-bargy, that could have got ugly.
Yeah, tire to tire.
And look at that, Fergus is right there at that point in time, ready to take advantage.
Boy, but like we said, once Alec got through, he has just dropped the hammer and opened this margin up now to about 4 seconds clear of Yuri. That's pretty remarkable in a spec class.
It really is. I mean, the team are doing a great job. The car seems to be getting stronger as this race moves on, but interesting to see how that sort of moment arrived in terms of Sloan had a lot of steering input, so the actual front wheel actually seems to come out of the fender a little bit, and then it rode up the rear fender of the Porsche like a ramp.
You saw that little puff of smoke. That's always a bit uncomfortable. But Alec doing a nice job. One of the things that they've been talking about in that team is that, Alec has been racing for a long time, even though he's still a very young man. But his engineer, Neville, said, what we've realized is that Alec has the experience now to make some calls from the car to the team and say, no, here's what I need. And he said, since we've let him open up a little bit like that, it's really amazing what they've been doing. And look at Cooper already up, catching the back of the GT Cup field. Just got around third place in GT Cup, Corey Fergus. So now traffic comes into the equation. And one thing those Acuras have, once you get in traffic, is they've got straight line.
They really do. They just launched. They've got a lot of acceleration. So Eversley is trying to get a little bit closer here to Cooper to see if he can maybe take advantage as the leaders cut through the GT Cup traffic.
And for Cooper, it's all about timing, isn't it? If you're, I mean, luck certainly when you catch traffic, but if you can read it right and not get held up too much, I mean, he's really got to be playing that chess match well now.
Yes, absolutely. And you got some smart races right there. I mean, these boys have won a lot of races during their career. I mean, Cooper realized he's got to try and make hay here. He sits third in the points, but it's a bucket load behind our leader, Alvaro Parent. When you're in a position like he is right now, you need to execute. You need to maximize.
Boy, and this is going to be tough because the carousel, not a place you can easily lay down a pass. He definitely is getting held up a little bit. Eversley getting a huge run out of the carousel, but I don't know if he was quite close enough. He's going to try, but he's going to have to do it around the outside. I think he just wants to make sure he's by Yuri, but now Eversley is close enough to pounce Cal, especially possibly coming out of the keyhole.
Absolutely. He's closer than he's ever been all through this race. Cooper's got a task right now. He needs to get a good clean exit off of the keyhole and then just see which way Eversley's going to go. Gaps him a little bit.
Welcome back to Mid-Ohio, and Ryan Eversley has closed the margin up as our leader has gone into some traffic, Cal. He's got a huge run coming out of the keyhole, heading down to the S's.
Here he comes deep into our stop-tech brake zone. Doesn't make the move there. I think he's looking up ahead at further traffic to maybe take advantage of. Certainly has erased that gap that Michael Cooper had built. Look at Eversley looking for any way around down through the S's.
Well, this is where that Acura, with the straight line speed, the power that it has, if Cooper gets bogged down anywhere, this is his opportunity, and Ryan's smart enough. He knows it.
Cooper really seems to get the power down well.
Boy.
We talk about the electronics on that Cadillac. They are superb. And through those tight corners, it just seems he can squeeze on the power a little bit sooner than Ryan Eversley.
Up into the carousel where last lap, Cooper got balked just a little bit by Sloan Urey. But this time he's not quite close enough to the back of Udell where that's going to hurt him too much, and he's just got to be able to get through clean. But you know, I talk about it, high-speed chess, well, the game is afoot.
It really is. This is fascinating to watch. Ryan Eversley is just there preying on the guy right in front of him.
And look at Alec Udell, smart driver, knows what's happening, moved over, let both of them through easily. Didn't want to affect this great battle. Thank you, Alec. We appreciate that.
Fastest lap times of the day shows that Eversley is about a 10th quicker than Michael Cooper. However, Alvaro Prent, our championship leader, sitting there in the third spot in that McLaren, has run a low 20, a 20.2. So he's got 3 or 4 tenths as the race has settled in a little bit. But he just lost so much ground in those opening laps, Greg.
Yeah, and Highcotter and Davis and Cal both running 120.4s. So they're quicker than the two guys up front as well. But like you said, just buried in the pack. And it's just, when things are so close, it's tough to make up any track position here. For Mike Shine now, he's been able to stretch that margin to about 3 seconds over Martin Fuentes. But Fuentes understands the big picture. Yes, he'd like the pace, but he's got second place points and a huge margin, over 200 coming in. And the way the point swings are here, seconds through the rest of the year would be good.
Just fine. Continue to just keep racking up those points. He did all of the damage to his competitors early in the year when he went on that streak. And right now, podiums will be just fine for Martin Fuentes as he tries to capture his first Pirelli World Challenge Championship.
And there he is in that black and white Hublot Under Armour Ferrari. You know, folks, obviously, you're big race fans. If you're watching with us, you love this series. And if you want to know what's going on in between the events, just go to social media. The obvious place to start with is the website, world-challenge.com. You can also get great video content there, including links to the live broadcast of the races. At Facebook, just search the Pirelli World Challenge Championship fan page. On Twitter, just look for the handle @WC Racing. And, of course, for all things racing, especially historical, you just want to take a moment and check out Motor Trend On Demand. Archives of all the Pirelli World Challenge races, but also of some of the great races through the years. It is an absolute treasure trove, and you can start your free trial at motortrendondemand.com today. I would encourage you to do that, and we go back to this great battle once again. That is Spencer Pumpelly, teammate to second place runner Ryan Eversley, and he is having a great scrap. Hasn't figured out a way to get by Pat Long yet, but he's hunting.
It's been a long weekend for Pat Long, just really struggled out of the transporter. Michael Shine did a test day here, which certainly helped him out a little bit, and you would have thought that would have given some direction to John Wright and the boys on this Porsche, but they just haven't found the sweet spot. We talked about it in the open, Greg.
Right.
This racetrack is so critical. You get the handling right. If you find the sweet spot, you can have a big weekend. However, if you're struggling, it's going to be a long weekend.
Absolutely. You talk about that track record in GTA that Michael set at a 1:21.7. Well, the pole time by Parent was a 1:20.7. So, yes, it was very fast, but it's still a second off, and that applies to Pat Long as well, obviously.
Pat Long said, I was following some of those McLarens yesterday and kind of envious their grip through these high-speed corners. Yes, they struggle because it creates a lot of drag with the downforce, but he said the cars just look so settled through turn one. It was pretty impressive, he said.
And here we go, looking back again. There is Alec Udell continuing to lead, but we were wondering what's been going on. Suddenly, Austin Cindric just slowed. Well, Jeff, I believe you've got some information from the pits. As a matter of fact, Cindric has come to a stop, Jeff. All right, well, thanks very much. But as we can see here, Cindric able to get going again, but running very, very slowly. And if he can keep it going, no question, I'm sure he will be making a move to pit lane. So as Austin continues to try and just salvage something here today, we're going to step away from Mid-Ohio for just a moment, but do come right back. We've got some great racing yet to unfold.
The electronics on these GT3 machines are so complex.
Yeah.
Obviously, Austin having some kind of driveline issue, clutch issue, or something that he's trying to rectify there.
Well, obviously,
for a moment, I thought he was going to create a caution, which could help out his teammate Perrin to erase this gap. It's getting brought down here.
It sure is.
It's down to just over 3 seconds, and we've still got quite a bit of time on the clock. We're just past the halfway mark.
Yeah, it was pushing 5 seconds at one point, but as you talked about, Perrin able to be, what, 2-3 tenths quicker on his last series of laps.
Also, how you get through traffic as well can have a delta as well in terms of what you're doing. But I think if Cooper's having to defend, that's going to compromise their lap time. And if Alvaro's just hitting his marks, there's still a long way to go. I think he could be hounding these guys before the checkered flag here this afternoon.
Well, certainly into turn 4, we've seen Cooper having to defend a couple of times. So, yeah, Perrin definitely is making inroads here. And, yeah, we're just past the halfway point, so plenty of race time here. Here comes Johnny O'Connell running in fourth. Johnny Red colored. I'm sure that's not the official name in the Cadillac guide, but
Velocity Red, right?
Yeah, it's Velocity Red, but
beautiful.
Yeah, it is. It is perfect color for Johnny. And again, 4-time champion, 4 in a row, and he got his first ever win in World Challenge for Cadillac here at Mid-Ohio. So he said, "We love this place, but it's just been a little tough." Yesterday's race was tough. This one going much better.
With his career, you think there are special tracks, but he's been special at all of them.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Sebring, Mr. Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, Mr. Mid-Ohio. I mean, he seems to have a handful of victories or more at every venue we visit.
He's the consummate pro, isn't he? And if you are at that level, you're fast everywhere, and you simply have to be. I know he'd like to be up a little closer, fighting for it here. But he's been just fighting a flu here this weekend as well. And that can affect things just a little bit. He said he felt much better yesterday, so I'm assuming he's even a grade better today and running a solid fourth. Heitkotter still in fifth, a couple of seconds back. Davison, though, is closed on Heitkotter, although the last few laps for, well, actually, Davison just turned a 127 to Heitkotter's 121.2. And so that battle between teammates might be shaping up.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing about teammates is you want to beat the other one. For J.D. Davison, he's a very competitive young man, and it's one thing to be having a weekend where you're not winning, but the second race is really with your teammate. You want to qualify him, you want to beat him, you want to finish ahead of him without it getting obviously out of control. Eversley's gap to the leader right now, just under a second. Perrin is closing in. It's only 2.3 seconds behind our leader. Perrin is coming after these leaders right now. Michael Shine looking very confident here. Car seems to be working well. Holding that lead over Martin Fuentes. Michael McCann running in the third spot in that Viper right now.
Nice to see McCann after that incident yesterday. He was so excited when he realized, all right, and the problem was they found they were getting some bad data from the sensors, nothing related with that crash. They just had some issues when they took it back after the crash to Riley. They went through it, and they went through the electronics and said, oh, well, we see some of your issues here. I mean, he had TC kicking in intermittently and stuff at Road America on the straights, and he said, now we're getting the correct data. He said, we can really start working on the car. And he said, but the problem is that means now I got to start figuring out the car once again. It's been a while since he's driven at this level, and certainly in this type of a car. This is all new.
It is, but he's a very competitive man, and he said, okay, it was a good qualifying run, but he said he was looking at the pace of the overall GT field. And I'm like, boy, that's a heavy standard to try and reach out for.
Yeah, that's right. I walked up to him and I went, great job in qualifying. He goes, I was 2 seconds off pole. I said, no, you weren't. You were 2 tenths. He goes, I'm talking overall. You'd love to see that kind of drive and commitment. And young Alec Udell doing a superb job, stretching that margin out just a little bit. If he's able to continue it here, Cal, it's going to be a 9th win on the season. We're starting to talk, the numbers that Colin Thompson put up last year.
Last year. We didn't expect that because Sloan Urie looked so strong at the beginning of the season, but there's just been a little change in momentum. Found the sweet spot with the chassis and confidence. That makes up for a lot.
Oh, big, isn't it? Absolutely. And, true speed with Tyler, Tadovic in that Security National Mortgage and Avasa's car. They're doing a great job. I mean, you take a look at the numbers that he was able to put up, Yuri, already this year, pretty special. There's a look at the Yeti Coolers Viper of Mike McCann. And now that they've got that thing sorted and they got the damage from yesterday, he's running some pretty good laps, Cal.
Yeah, he's putting down some nice laps. About half a second off of Shine and Fuentes, but even so, really good performance here by Michael. Great to see him back in World Challenge competition.
Yep, used to run the old Viper competition coupe when they were in the class. And then, of course, he had a season or two running with Andy Pilgrim when they took the then Cadillac program and took it under a private wing and turned it into the Remington Racing program.
Toussaint and Preston Calv having a nice little battle here, which is for 4th position in GTA. Two Porsches going hard at it. A Porsche leads in Michael Shine, then it's a Ferrari of Fuentes, Viper of McCann, and these two Porsches complete the field.
All right, folks, with us here in the web while we're paused for our CBS Sports Network show, we're going to do just a quick throw to a pit interview that will appear in that CBS Sports show, so didn't want that to just kind of be jarring when I do it, which is coming right now. Well, Austin Cindric, wounded, has made his way down into pit lane. Jeff Lepper, what are you hearing? Well, for Austin, who showed such strong pace the weekend once again after that great run yesterday, going a little sour on him. He too has really struggled. And you know, when you look at the third member of that team, when you're Colin Thompson or Austin Cindric, one of the things that you're looking at is Alvaro Parent leading in the points, having that kind of a year. And if something's going to go wrong, we're going to be the ones that get it. It's just sometimes you have those seasons, don't you?
You do, and it's unfortunate, but there's nothing you can do about it. You just have to keep grinding, try and get some positivity. But look at this, Alvaro Parent. Yeah. Ryan Eversley will be seeing that bright yellow McLaren very shortly, I feel, because he keeps chipping away at the lead right now. Eversley down to the inside, but Cooper realized he's got enough in hand that he doesn't have to defend at this stage. He needs to start hitting his perfect lines because the team will be saying, okay, you can see Eversley, but look a little bit further back. Parent has really narrowed the gap to the leaders.
Yeah, and we're into our final 13, coming up on final 12 minutes of this. No, sorry, 22. 18 to go. Sorry, I missed 5 minutes in there. So it's just better news for Parent, worse news for Cooper and Eversley then.
Yeah, they've got a long time to hang on with the pace of that McLaren right now. But as we know, I mean, the McLaren does not have prodigious straightaway speed, so he may have to take advantage of traffic to try and make some moves. And he's also got to think about the big picture. He's the championship leader. He's not going to throw it all away just to pick up a couple of points here.
Now, folks, you just saw a reason why I announce racing and I'm not an engineering math skills, a little questionable. But boy, this is this is going to get absolutely furious here, because the McLaren obviously makes great downforce, but the one thing that the team will tell you is we don't think we're quite there in terms of straight line. And so once he catches these cars, then it becomes now what? But we've seen some pretty creative moves that you can make here. Sometimes you have to at this track, don't you?
You do. But again, I think he's really going to be, I'm sure the team will be talking to him as well. I mean, he's a polished professional. He's a veteran of GT competition, so he's not going to make any rash moves. However, Cooper is third in the points, so he's going to gain a little bit. But for Alvaro Parent, he realizes Pat Long's having a really bad weekend here, and he's still going to make a big bundle of points on him.
So probably if the opportunity's there, he'll certainly pounce. But if he'll balance that risk-reward, is what you're talking about.
I think so. I don't think he's going to fight too hard for it. If he gets close enough in this traffic, and he can take advantage then. But I don't think he's going to be making any brazen moves down the inside to try and just get ahead of Eversley. But you never know.
You never, exactly. And they're coming up now in the back of that battle you talked about for fourth in GTA, coming up on the Preston Calvert Joseph Toussaint battle. And depending upon when you catch them, that can certainly affect things.
Well, it caught Parent yesterday when he was going around a GTA machine, and his lead to Austin Cindric was had about a second taken out of it in a heartbeat. So we'll see what happens here with the dynamic of this race.
Eversley, just anytime there's a longish straight, because the strong suit, we talk about a lot of the accurate straight line, because it's not a GT3 homologated car, it doesn't have the downforce of these cars. And so as a consequence, it gets to run a little bit more in terms of straight line. And again, he gets a run. Cooper leaving the door open. I think Cooper thought, well, I had a little bit more of a margin in hand.
Well, despite not having a lot of downforce, which also relates to your braking ability, Eversley is demonic on the brakes as well. So I think Michael's got to be a little bit careful. He seems to be gauging the gap nicely in terms of not having to defend there, but Eversley's getting pretty close for comfort right there into that brake zone into turn 4.
And folks, we're going to be rejoining our CBS Sports Network call in just a sec. Quick pause. Welcome back to Mid-Ohio, and you're noticing traffic once again for Michael Cooper and Ryan Eversley, but more importantly, third car in the queue, that yellow and deep blue McLaren of points leader Alvaro Perez. And I did it again, Alvaro Perez, and he is all over the back of Ryan Eversley.
He has been on a charge. He has really narrowed that gap to the leaders. The McLaren is working well. Seemed to take a long time to find its sweet spot here today. Cooper has not been having a super clean run through traffic. Eversley now goes to the high side. He's got to be careful here because Perez is looking for these sort of opportunities. Fortunately, Joe Toussaint sees him, gives him that outside lane, and now the straight line speed of the Acura should help him stretch the gap back to Perez.
And you just saw Cooper there for a minute kind of faint over toward Toussaint. I think he was just saying, I'm here. Don't go dive into that turn. But look at this, going back a little bit. We've been talking about the attack Pompelli's been putting along. He finally got it done and down into our stop tech brake zone, but it wasn't easy.
Oh, no, he was deep on the brakes, and Patlon's going to hold tight there around the outside, thinks better of it. You can see Pompelli, he's got all the weight moving forward. He was dancing the rear end there. Threshold braking, ABS kicking in, just gets the move done.
Boy, that's literally dancing on the brakes is what he was doing coming in there. That
Traffic.
Yeah, that's
Traffic
madness.
for
Oh
Cooper.
boy,
This
here
is
we
big.
go.
Eversley, if he can time the, oh, nice move by Cooper. The door just opens up.
Now Calvert lets him through. Oh, and Perent's going to sweep around. Oh, he didn't. I don't think Preston realized there was a third car in that line.
That was big. That was our championship leader going for a ride there. A lot of grass in the radiator grill right now. Perent will not be happy about that. Tries to shake it loose. Look at that. It is packed.
Oh, boy. And there is still time to run here.
Yeah, this is a problem. This is a big problem for Alvaro Perent. A long time to go. We've got 13 minutes left in this race. Will that McLaren overheat? Will he need to get to pit lane and clear out that grill?
And the problem is he still hasn't gone around Calvert because now Calvert running GTA. That's a car that has pretty equal straight line speed. Now Perent's able to get down and underneath, but look at that, Cal. Just absolutely packed.
Well, it's weird with the front straightaway here at Mid-Ohio. That white line actually comes across to the left as you're going down there. So if you think you're staying straight, it's actually narrowing a bit on the right-hand side. So that may have caught Preston out a little bit in terms of creating a gap for Alvaro, or either that or he just didn't see him at all.
I think it's probably he let the two cars go through, didn't realize there was a third. But the other part of the equation here is now Johnny O'Connell, who last time by was almost 4 seconds back, is significantly closer because of that moment for Perent. So that bit of racing for the third, fourth, fifth, sixth spot is starting to heat up as Cooper puts another lap in the books.
Perent lost 2 seconds in Sector 1 alone last time across the stripe, which is basically from the start-finish line over to the back straightaway. That is what that move cost him in the grass.
And there's Perent. Ooh, and he's wide again. He is pushing so hard. But look how close O'Connell is. And you've got Connor and Davison, who've been showing some great pace as well, that are moving up, although they get trapped right now behind Calvert.
Well, this is a big, big point in this race. O'Connell pushing for everything he's got. He wants part of that podium. If Perent slows even a little bit, there's 3 cars right now. Johnny O and the 2 Nissans really close to him. Perent struggling here in the straightaway. O'Connell flicks to the outside. I think Perent's got issues. He seems to be slowing.
Yep, well, you have to think it's overheating related. And here comes Cotter, Davison. Those are the 2 team cars, the Nissan Cotter, the GT Academy, Nismo Nissan, and J.D. Davison in the Air Now Nismo Nissan, and they are there. Yeah, Perent way off the pace, Cal.
Yeah, he's got to be. Oh, the engine's gone, I think, Greg. I think those sparks may be coming from the exhaust, possibly.
Boys, if it is, he's got a, that's a tough spot here. Looking to see. I don't see anything on the.
No, we definitely saw some sparks there.
Yeah.
So whether it's just coincidental that he's got those radiators packed with grass and overheating potentially, and then some other issue. Wow, what a game changer. As Pat Long goes by, he probably can't believe what he's looking at.
And Perrette takes the car down into the pits. Huge points implications here. Michael Cooper continues to lead over Eversley, but now O'Connell third, Heitkotter and Davison completing your top 5. Shine still leads in GTA, Udell in GT Cup, and we will be right back. All right, laying out a few more minutes here on our CBS Sports feed and coverage. So back with you here. And once he gets back into some clear track, Cooper able to open that margin up just a little bit again over Eversley. We go back, Spencer Pumpelly now, who once he got around Long has put in some nice laps and has caught John Fogerty.
Big laps.
Yeah.
He's run a 120.264, and Perrette was a 220.29. So Pumpelly right now is fastest lap of the race. He's not going to gain anything in terms of if it's in race 1, obviously is a grid position situation, but not right now. Perrette's back out, cleared out those radiator grills. So those sparks were pretty dramatic. We saw there in turn 9.
I wonder if the sparks, maybe since he knew he was in trouble, he'd moved well offline, and if the car just bottomed for a minute on a curb. I mean, I don't know what else to say because he's back out, and the car seems to be having some pretty good pace.
What a game changer in this championship. Right now, Pat Long runs inside the top 10. Not a brilliant day. He runs in 9th, but he would have lost a bundle of points here.
Oh, boy. Yeah, dropped to 11th at this stage.
Perrette currently being shown in the 12th position. Michael Shine has moved around him, as has Fuentes and Marcelli now. So Perrette's dropping down the order. The GTA cars do count towards GT points in this championship, so if you finish behind them, it will cost you points. They're not separate.
There is your leader in GTA, Mike Shine, you just talked about, having another great run in that Wright Motorsports Porsche, although looks like Fuentes has found a little pace and has closed that margin up just a bit.
Yeah, only a 1/10 of a second between the two in terms of fast laps, and certainly the gap is much smaller than it was earlier on. It was up around the 3-second mark. Now it's down to about 2 seconds. Marcelli still sits on the tail end of that Ferrari in the Audi.
Well, and unfortunately, Cal, we just got the official word. Cindric is done. They just could not get that problem resolved, so he is out of the car. And a tough day for him. Shown now dead last, and that is hugely unfortunate. But here's a good look at Mike Shine continuing to go after another win, and he's starting to rack them up just a little bit here. This would be his 6th win of the season. There's a look at Cindric sitting the car, the door open, and that driver out at this stage.
This weekend has gone haywire for the K-Pax Flying Lizard group. Thompson not competing here today after the incident yesterday. Yep. Cindric, a strong car, out of the action, and Perrette with the pit stop has plummeted down the order to the 15th position and 12th in GT.
As we're watching Alec Udell, who's continued to just ease away here and build that margin over Sloan Uri and Corey Fergus. Oh boy, look at this scrap here. Fogarty under attack by Pumpelly, again getting around Preston Calvert. And Calvert really, I mean, he was very aware of it, got out of the way. I think he just didn't see Perrette when Perrette came through. And I think Perrette, that wasn't a risk. He didn't think that as a risk. I think he thought, now he sees us, he's letting us all go.
It was a legitimate move by Alvaro, and
yep.
I think it was just a bit of misjudgment there by Preston, unfortunately. Someplace around this racetrack, you literally can't get out of the way. It's impossible, but certainly there on the front straightaway, there should have been the opportunity for Preston to give that outside lane to the gentleman who was running in the 3rd position, Alvaro Perrette.
Welcome back, everybody. A little bit deeper in the field. Some tremendous racing still going on. Looking there at the 99 of Fogarty, under attack by Pumpelly. Here comes Pat Long, under attack by the Bentley of Adderley Fong. So the battles for 7th and 9th are as fierce as anything anywhere else on the track.
They really are, and Pat Long just has to keep digging. He can't afford to drop any more positions. He needs to gain on Alvaro Parent in the championship here today. Look at this. Pompelli's the fastest man on the racetrack right now, trying to make a move on the Red Dragon, the Gainsco entry of John Fogarty.
Again, those McLarens, such great downforce. And once they get to the braking zone, they're able to go just that bit deeper. And just tells you there that Pompelli, like Eversley, has found on Cooper, you got to get farther along to make that work. But you're talking about the pace that Pompelli's putting on. One, you said the fast lap won't get him much in terms of, since it's the second race. However, it's impressive for a guy who's had very little time in this car to come in and be running this fast. It's not going to hurt his CV at all.
Absolutely. I mean, this is a great opportunity for Spencer with the HPD Acura brand. So to come in here and show that sort of speed, he wouldn't have been happy about yesterday being effectively taken out of the action. Here we see the leaders coming through traffic once again. Advantage Cooper. He's opened it up nicely over Ryan Eversley. Probably about 2 seconds right now with that little gap in traffic again.
Yeah. Mike McCann splitting the 2 leaders.
Someone's
right
off
now.
big time.
Somebody off. That's the
Fong.
Bentley.
Was he trying to make a move on Pat Long? It's the Fong Long show again, guys.
That always keeps it interesting. Let's go back and take a look, see what happened.
There's turn 1, the exit of turn 1. He's using that cut
Sure
through.
does. Here it is.
He's not inside a line. He just gets in there really deep, loses the back end, just turns in with a lot of speed, corrects it. And that was a narrow escape there. If he missed everything, did he just? Oh, it's super close. Watch this, how tight he is to that tire bundle. Woo.
Oh, he did a nice job.
That was a big escape there. It's really high speed through turn 1. He was just pushing really hard, just lost the tail end. Now he's trying to clean off those tires a little bit.
And remount the attack. I mean, he was so close to the back of Long, and obviously that's going to cost him a ton of time and track.
Yeah,
he's still struggling, isn't he?
Not sure that's just dirty tires. He may have an issue as we get back to our leader, Michael Cooper.
And as we're coming up on the last 3 minutes thereabouts, he has himself more of a margin than he's had in a while, so that's going to play well for Cooper.
Parent there sits behind these 2 guys. It's kind of a cut and paste of the view we had about 10 minutes ago, but obviously he's now 1 lap down. Parent still running in the 15th position, our championship leader. The guy who's closest to him in the points, Pat Long, sits in 9th. So that'll be a nice delta for Pat Long at the end of the day.
And as you said, when this race started, I think Pat Long, knowing that on the radio Parent had been closing on the lead and everything, suddenly to see him pit, that was going to be a huge and welcome surprise at a track where Pat and that team just struggling a little bit this weekend. Not so for Alec Udell, who has continued to build that margin, and Michael Cooper coming up behind him. So a couple of class leaders in the frame right there. That blue Euro World, AmSource Financial and Panther Pipeline Global Motorsports Group Porsche of Udell, and then the Cadillac Racing black number 8 of overall leader Michael Cooper at ATS VR.
Michael said he loves this racetrack. He's had so much success here over the years, and he's a little disappointed with their qualifying run here. Yesterday, Joe Tussano's had a quick spin. Is that turn 9?
Looks like it. He's got to be a little careful here, obviously.
Yeah, this is kind of a blind brow of a hill there. He's got to be super careful not to pull out because no one's going to see him there, right there.
Nice job. And where his eyes were looking, he was looking right at the corner station where they'll find a gap for him. So played that well. And Cal, we're expecting white flag for Michael Cooper next time by.
Oh, what a result this would be for this young man. Really vaults him right back into the championship hunt. We talk about Pat Long getting the advantage over Parent in the points, but the big player is going to be Michael Cooper here. He came into this race 156 points behind Alvaro Parent. He's going to get the maximum score. He's going to make up about 60, 70 points on the championship leader.
This is a huge story in the making, and you talked about the success he's had here. He told me, he said, since I started pro racing, every event I've come here, I've won. Not every race, because they're double headers, but every event I've walked away with at least 1 win. I love this place, and in a lap, if he hangs on, he's going to love it even more. 1 to go. Ryan Eversley into second, that 3rd car in your frame. Down lap, Alec Udell leading in GT Cup, and Cooper opened that margin up now to almost 2.5 seconds.
Textbook run here for Michael Cooper, but hats off to Ryan Eversley. Remember the BOP adjustment on the Acura? They didn't think they'd have the speed here. Well, he's just a hard racer, and he maximized. Pompelli has been excellent as well with the fastest lap of the race so far. He sits in the 8th position from a poor grid position after the incident yesterday.
And looking here is your leader still in GTA, Shine Fuentes, not letting him get too far down the road, but at the other side of that is Fuentes has not been able to significantly close it up on Shine. But I think Martin is also big picture looking right now.
He is. He's been pushing hard. He wants to win. I mean, he's a feisty guy. He wants to win. He's got a lot of passion about his racing. But Michael Shine is certainly a strong force in this championship right now and looking for another victory.
And he's got it in the right position. And I think right now he understands he's on his last lap. But here we go. Last time through the carousel, Michael Cooper feeding his way onto the front straight. And Michael Cooper is going to bring home another win at Mid-Ohio. That's impressive. And his second win of the season. And as you said, Cal, a huge gain in the points and a superb race for Ryan Eversley. There is Alec Udell bringing home another win. What a remarkable story that has been this season. His 9th win of the year for Alec. Impressive stuff. And for Cooper, again, boy, what a race. What an opportunity.
Oh, big jump in the points. This is a big weekend for Michael Cooper. And what devastation for the K-Pax Flying Lizard group with Alvaro Brent's issue. Unofficially right now we have him in the 14th position.
Yeah, all 3 of their cars having issues today. And for Mike Shine, here he comes and will pick up the checkered flag for himself. And this should be his 6th win of the year by my reckoning. Onto the front straight he comes. Impressive day. An impressive weekend for the New Yorker. That's as we're watching Mike Shine enjoying his cool down lap. So Cooper, Eversley, and O'Connell complete the podium in GT and GTA. Shine Fuentes and Mike McCann. Great run in the Yeti Viper. And in GT Cup, Udell, Yuri, and Corey Fergus. We'll be right back to Mid-Ohio.